Welcome back, it's Andrew, your crypto guy on the internet, and it's been a while since we ranted and raved about the numbers in the economy, but I think we're due, and, I've been saving it up for you. So first let's look at Bitcoin's overall price action lately. We're just ping-ponging in this range here in the 60s. You see the price action happen, and then the news stories kind of back it up or match that price action. We have some positive and negative things, but we can make money either way. So I have buys set up for 59,000 and another at 53,000, assuming this breaks to the downside, which it could. I still think that this is just the preamble. All right, we have the halving event in a few days, and it is halving, not havening. If you see a grown adult say havening, just correct them because that's not a word. If you're not sure if a word is a word, go to m-w.com and type the word in. So this is halving. Halving means to divide into two equal parts. Halvening, not a word in the dictionary, so no more halvening, thank you. So the halving event is in just a few days, and the big build-up to that, we've largely already cashed in on that, okay? But the real profit, the real bullish move is after the halving event happens, months after. You go up and to the right slowly but steadily for 6 to 12 months or longer after a halving event. We're just starting. So if we pull back into the 50s, great. I'm going to dollar cost average a little bit for spot. I'll short it in trades on the way down, making money either way. But a lot of this stuff was, the scare wasn't just in crypto. It was in everything, and it starts with the mass uncertainty of Israel not making any new friends. And, Iran fired back, and now we're wondering what the retaliation of the retaliation will be. But you know what? It feels like Israel is your bratty little brother who lives in a neighborhood where everybody else hates him. So instead of your little brother keeping his mouth shut and hiding in his house and playing video games, he goes outside and picks a fight with everybody. And you, the US, as the big brother, have to go there and deal with it. But if I were Izzy's big brother at this point, I'd be like, go inside, shut your mouth. I'm going to calm everything down. I don't want to hear a peep out of you because you're costing me a lot of money. You understand? But that's just me as a big brother. My own little brothers are good kids. I never had any problem with them. And then we had Chair Powell come out, and he's like, remember how I said we were going to do some rate cuts? So the past 3 months of inflation data have been going the wrong direction. And we have to remain nimble, but it looks bad. So we're not going to get any cuts right away. It's going to be maybe 2 this year. And so that re-scared everybody, which I don't know why that shocks anyone at this point. You and I both know that the inflation is way worse than they're telling us on TV. And finally, a mainstream talking head has acknowledged it. Meet Kevin. Clever guy, kind of goofy, but a big boy in the finance space. Is a self-made man, a family man. He ran for governor a little while ago. You'll see him on Fox Business and MSNBC every once in a while giving his finance commentary. He has a blog site called eHack, and he dropped a big steaming pile of truth on it. And it's regarding the big banks in the U.S. and their numbers. So the big banks have been making the numbers look pretty, but it's all fugazi, okay? It's painted rust. There is one stat in here that proves that things are much worse than what the Biden administration is telling us. Primarily, charge-offs. Charge-offs. A charge-off is when somebody is 6 months or more behind on their credit card bill. The bank has given up on getting that money from you, and they sell it off to a collections agency. That number is now 3.32%. And JP Morgan's like, it's cool, we're going to keep it below 3.5%. Now, if you didn't have any context, you'd think that's fine. But then I looked up the charge-off rate for 22, 2021, and 2020. Oh, 0.5% when the pandemic hit, 0.3% during 2021 when we were printing money out of thin air, and 0.27% when people were still living off of whatever they made the past 2 years. 0.27% a year and a half ago. And now it's at 3.32%. Is that what I read? Yeah. Quarter by quarter, it's exploding. So quarter one of 2023 was at 207, and then 2.79 each quarter, and then 3.32. And I wonder what it's going to be this upcoming quarter. I don't see it going the other way. So that is a massive increase in the number of people who cannot pay their credit cards. I mean, it's not like they're a little behind. They've given up on trying to make that payment. So when Karine Jean-Pierre goes on TV and says, hey, everything's cool, consumer spending is up, everybody's got a job, we're fine, consumer spending is put on maxed out credit cards and buy now, pay later that they'll never pay later, and loans that go into default. So you're going to have a whole generation of people that are fucked, like broken credit, no money, can't feed their kids, and the price of chicken is still skyrocketing. Gas isn't getting any cheaper. Energy's not getting any cheaper. No, and Jerome Powell in his face, he's like, sorry kids, what do you want from me? This administration, they're getting painted into a corner here. And the floor is made of rust. They just keep painting over the rust, hoping nobody will notice the cracks that keep bleeding through, hoping that they can put it off just a little longer until the next election, which they know they will lose. So when the Republicans win this election, that's when you release the dam, and that's when the harsh reality of the abrupt recession really kicks in. Because at the same time, you have commercial real estate loans going upside down, and that is yanking on banks. At the same time as the federal funds rate being higher for longer, and you have people who can't pay back the banks for their credit cards. The banks are in deep shit. So who's going to bail out the banks? And the little banks, we just let them drown or get absorbed. But when the big banks are in trouble, they got to get bailed out by the Fed. And so the Fed starts printing more money, which restarts all the inflation problems and makes them even worse than before. The best they can do is time it for when the next president walks in, which will probably be a Republican at this point. People are upset. When they're starving, they get upset. They look at the figure who's in charge now and they blame that person, okay? So if we can keep the lie going just a little bit longer for when the new guy comes in, that's immediately when the floor falls out, and then you blame it all on the new guy. And it's probably going to be Trump at this rate. So Trump walks in, hey, how you doing? Boom! That's when all this shit finally explodes. Somebody dies of cancer, and a doctor just walks in, and we all blame that doctor. He's like, what? I don't even know who this patient is. What are you talking about? I would have told him, 4 years ago, start doing a keto diet, exercise or something. But instead, it's all your fault, man. You're the one on duty now. Was Trump a mastermind? Was it a perfect economy then? No, but it was a hell of a lot better than this, okay? Numbers were closer to this the whole time. They certainly didn't explode like this impossibly high stuff at 3.32%. That's insane. So what are you going to do? Well, I personally have dumped off most of my stock. So Coinbase, she did great for me this year. I bought in around $80, sold off at $250. And I'll probably rebuy in around the same time as start DCAing into Bitcoin. So for Coinbase, I got a little buy around 190. Another one, I think, somewhere in the 150s. Tesla, I'm gonna have to let him go. Unfortunately, I'm bleeding out on Tesla. Amazon, I'm gonna hold on to. You can have World War 3, 4, and 5. Amazon's still selling shit. Okay, they're gonna be fine. All my other little fun stuff. Palo Alto, I'm waiting for a cyber attack. You make some money during that. General Dynamics, of course, is doing fine as the world burns, so I'm invested in them. And what else do we have? Starbolt Carriers. That was Senator Tuberville bought a bunch of this crap. So this is just a speculative move copying some insider trades that I saw our senators doing. All right, so JP Morgan stock, as you can tell, boom, when this shit comes out, when normal people who are smart read this, they go, oh boy, and they start selling off their bank stocks, okay? And It looks like it's about to hit Wells Fargo, too. Look for your buying opportunities. The altcoins, I'm not sure on buying altcoins just yet because the Bitcoin dominance is still super high. Still super high. And if you noticed when that bad news kicked in with this Iran stuff, altcoins took a major dump. I was watching 20-30% drops in the altcoins when Bitcoin went down like 8 or 10%, or something like that. Bitcoin is absorbing the altcoin money because it's the safer play in that space. And I agree with that. Either way, the halving event's a few days. We're still on track. And Bitcoin's still the best asset you can buy and hold. So I'm still doing that. Like I said, my average buy price is like 21,000, so I'm doing fine. And I'm going to start a new round of DCA when we fall into the 50s. But if you're new here and you're going, should I buy Bitcoin? It's always a good time to buy Bitcoin. Okay? Now, I love my altcoins. And you could argue buying Solana now or at $100 is a better idea than it was at $200. I still recommend Solana. If you bought Bitcoin already, you're looking for another coin to buy, Solana's another one I recommend. Not financial advice, but I've been in this space for a long time, and Solana's done me well. Ethereum, similar story, not as exciting. I'm waiting for the SEC to get off their back. I know they're trying to take down Ethereum as a security all over again. I don't know how well it's going to go. It might actually stick this time. Time will tell. The SEC is also going after Uniswap. I don't know how the fuck they're going to pull that one off. I don't think that's going to stick. Chainlink, still my winner. AVAX, I got buys set for $24, $25, just in case we were to fall. So a lot of these charts look similar to Bitcoin. They're just more exaggerated, right? So if we have this range here that we've kind of set up earlier, right here, right where we're at, if we break through to the downside, it's looking like a hard fall down to 24, 25. For Avalanche, I have a little buy set in that area too, just in case it happens. Render, still love this one. Vaguely in the AI space. If you're not familiar with Render, a nice metaphor for it would be like if AI is a gold rush, then Render is selling the pickaxes and the shovels. So Render's still a strong token. Ondo's been doing pretty well. That's pretty much all I have to say. Just know that we're fucked. But you have a plan. You see it coming. So it's not going to hurt you as much as the people out there just living life with blinders on. I love you guys. Have a great day.